Of course, I realize that there are so many aspects of the English language that it would be impossible to teach everything in a class. However, over my years of experience, I have come across a number of things that I think are quite essential, particularly about pronunciation, and that many teachers either forget or just brush over. Most of these are really pronunciation mistakes that I see repeated time and time again. With American pronunciation, these differences are perhaps less noticeable or a bit more subtle. This is the Englishoneer, where we look into what people say in English and why they say it. Anyway, here are 5 important pronunciation mistakes that I regularly see. The. Now, I realize this is the simplest of words, and this time I'm not looking at the TH pronunciation, the th part, which is a whole other issue. Now, normally, the is pronounced the pen, the telephone, the terrible teacher, etc. However, when it is used before a vowel sound, it is pronounced the with an elongated E. The reason for this is it makes the transition between the vowel at the end of the and the vowel sound that begins the following word much smoother. If we say the other day, for example, it sounds very hesitant, very stilted. If we say the other day, the transition is much smoother. But watch out, I said vowel sound, not just vowel. Let's take the word hour, which begins with an H, but the sound is like a vowel. So we would say the hour before dawn or the honorable gentleman. We also use this pronunciation, the, when we want to emphasize the specificity of something. For example, this is the best pie I've ever tasted. It's not wrong to say the best, but we want to emphasize it. Number 2. Two-syllable words. There are plenty of two-syllable words, aren't there? Of course there are, but there are some that change the pronunciation depending on whether they are verbs, adjectives, or nouns. You've probably already heard this a number of times, but perhaps you never noticed. The general rule is that if it is a verb, the two-syllable word is emphasized on the second syllable. And if the same word is used as an adjective or a noun, the emphasis will be on the first syllable. Sounds very complicated, but let's look at some examples. There's a whole list of them that I'll put in a link in the description below. For example, the verb to desert means to abandon or to leave behind. And desert is the big, hot, dry, sandy place that everybody has left behind. Don't confuse it with dessert, the sweet dish at the end of a meal. That is spelt with 2 S's. To record, to make a note or an engraving like in a TV show or a movie. And a record is a note or a file with information recorded on it. To import, to bring commercial items into the country. And import, an object that is brought legally into the country. The same rule applies for export or to export. Sometimes the change in stress can change the meaning completely. For example, a project or project is a piece of work, and to project is to display something, usually on a screen. A console is an electronic device like a PlayStation or Xbox. But to console is to make someone feel better, like after they have broken up or somebody close to them has died. Number 3, the ATE pronunciation at the end of words. So listen to this list of words and tell me what they have in common, besides finishing with ATE, of course. Invigorate, congratulate, articulate, authenticate, educate, translate, communicate, consecrate, disseminate, contaminate, assassinate, impersonate, commiserate, hallucinate, and many, many more. Well, Whoever guessed that they were all verbs would be quite correct. And you notice that we pronounce like the past of the verb to eat, in other words, ate. The general rule is that verbs that finish with ate are pronounced ate. And if it's a noun or an adjective with the same ending, they're pronounced ut. So you might have fortunate, approximate, graduate, separate, associate, delicate, duplicate, literate, appropriate, celibate, desperate, elaborate, inadequate, and intermediate. Some of you sharp-eyed people will notice that a few of these are also verbs, and in those cases they will be pronounced ate. So although the noun is duplicate, we can duplicate something. Although we might have separate desks, you can separate. As mentioned, this is a general rule, so it's English, of course, there are exceptions. For example, sulfate, primate, and ornate are just a few. Follow this rule, though, and you can't go wrong most of the time. Number 4, silent letters. If you have letters in a word, why don't you pronounce them? I often hear my students say. And I do get it. It doesn't really make sense. If you've got letters, why not pronounce them? Well, it does make sense to me because I know the history, but not to them. In English, we don't have an academy to set the rules, so the way we say things or write things is completely organic. Also, the way some people say a word may be different from another person due to educational level or regional accent. Some people say pass and others say pass. So spoken words in English have evolved over time while the spelling has remained approximately the same for 500 years. Here are a few common pronunciation mistakes. The G at the end of thing, sing, travelling. Nobody says thing, sing, and travelling. The S in island or isle. The B in bomb, climb, and lamb. Nobody says bomb, climb, and lamb. The K in knife, knock, and knee. The L in salmon, calm, and should. The GH in though, through, plough. The H in school, what, and ghost. The G in gnome, sign, and champagne. The W in right, who, and rap. And I could go on with lots and lots of other letters. There are also some words that eat some of the sounds. Look at this. Comfortable, we don't pronounce the O and the R. Wednesday, we don't pronounce the D or the E. Definitely, we don't pronounce the I in the middle. Quinoa, everybody makes a mistake with that one. And kernel, we don't pronounce the L or the second O, we just pronounce kernel. Number 5, transition from one word to the next. How would you pronounce this well-known business networking site? I've heard many people say LinkedIn or LinkedIn, when it is in fact LinkedIn or LinkedIn. What happens in English when a consonant sound is followed by a vowel sound is that the consonant sound magically moves to the beginning of the vowel sound, so that LinkedIn sounds like LinkedIn. Let's look at some other examples. I don't like it becomes I don't like it. He hasn't arrived becomes he hasn't arrived. Tonight I'm going out becomes tonight I'm going out. Obviously, you have to say the word or phrase together, otherwise it won't make any sense. And you need to practice with this. Well, I hope you enjoyed that or at least learned something new. If you have any comments or suggestions, please put them in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed the video, why not press the like and subscribe buttons? It really helps us. Thanks very much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.